All right, so welcome everyone to Vinyasa Yoga. I'm Danny. I'll guide your practice today. And if there's any technical issues, let me know on the chat. And make sure to take care of yourself throughout our practice today, honor whatever is going on in your body. And we're going to play a little bit with some diversity of movement. So just a couple of things that we are going to do. We're going to build up to a balancing hand balancing posture. So crow pose, just a few little details on there. If you do have a block, sometimes it can be nice to have a block, like a little perch to land on. And two little options for crow. So one is to have the legs out wider and slide the triceps underneath of the shins to create the shift in the pose. The other option is to have your knees more together and then the knees come towards the triceps. So checking in with which version when we get there. This one I find easier for myself, but that's not true for every single person. And from there, the finger pads are going to be super active. The palms are engaged, inner arms are strong, and this is where you take the evolution that works for you. So it might be that you just lift a little bit. Leaning forward is a lot of work. One foot, maybe both feet off of the ground. So lots of places to be in the pose, and we'll play with that. The one other thing we'll do in one of our flows is a little back bend from three-legged down dog, hip open. So being mindful here. Sometimes this is called wild thing. So flipping, and then I'm going to extend up opposite arm to the sky. I'm keeping my glutes super strong. So this can torque the low back. Please be mindful and do not hurt yourself. Okay, let's start out in a standing position. So one of the things I'm passionate about is just moving the body in different ways. And yoga is a great conduit for just exploring different movements in that way. So come and take a supportive stance with your feet hip distance or a little bit wider apart. Root down into the earth. Make any movements with your shoulders, head, neck, mouth, jaw, eyes. And take a few moments, as long as you need really, to land and arrive, eyelids soft. In this space, welcome yourself, body, breath, mind, emotions, all parts of your beings. Welcome into the space, no matter how you're showing up. So whether those areas are more thriving or more neutral or feeling a little bit more down or challenged. And gradually here, awaken through your finger pads. You can still keep the eyes soft. Start to deepen your breath. With the in-breath, bend your elbows, palms lift a little bit to the sky. With the exhalation, flip your palms, press down as if you were pressing something into the ground. Inhale, palms lift a little. Elbows stay bent. Exhale, flip and press down. Move at your own rhythm and breath. So welcoming this little movement meditation. With the inhale, it's a gentle pulse lift. Exhale to lower. Feel free to layer on constriction at the back of your throat, moving into ocean sounding breath, Ujjayi pranayam, creating a little bit more connection to parasympathetic nervous system, as well as building a little heat. So check in with your relationship to this breath. Honor your own speed, your own rhythm. At your own cycle, next time the palms lift skyward, draw them to touch in front of your heart center. Pause here and take a moment to create direction, purpose, intention for your time in practice. It could be around this inquiry of diversity or creating more possibility, changing a routine if you feel like you've been stagnant or stuck in somewhere in your life. If that doesn't resonate, set a focus that works for you. And to affirm this, each other's company here, gently bow head to heart. Slowly release. Arms by the side of your body. Inhale to circle sweep your arms up to the sky. With exhalation, hinge at your hips, fold forward right into a forward bend. Inhale to elongate halfway up, spine long. With the exhalation, fold back down towards the ground. A few more times your movement and breath here. Next exhale as you bow down to the ground, hands touch down. Take a moment, step back, hips high, downward facing dog pose. Activate through your finger pads, bend one knee at a time, walk out. Pause any movement here, take a deep breath in. With exhale, lower your knees down to the ground. Inhale, tip your tail back, collarbones broad forward, calf stretch. Exhale to draw in, round, cat stretch. Move with your own rhythm and breath. If your knees are sensitive, double up your mat or use an additional blanket here. Final cycle to round in into cat stretch. Use your inhale to return your low back to neutral. Exhale to ground into the earth. With inhale, rise up, hands to thighs, kneeling position. Circle sweep the arms all the way up to the sky. With exhalation, lean over to the left side. Stretch to the right side body. Inhale through center. Exhale, opposite way. Inhale to lift. Exhale. Final time, whichever side you're at. With the inhalation, rise both arms to the sky. Exhale, lower your hands down to the ground, tabletop. Fire up through the finger pads. Curl your toes under, a little scoop in the tail. Dome the low, mid and upper back, rather. From there, lift your knees off of the ground to hover. Give the knees a little break for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, lower. Knees back down to the earth. Inhale, extend right leg back behind. Stay right there. Add a little bit more balance challenge. Left arm out in front. Inhale, deep breath. With your exhalation, bend into your right elbow. Keep your leg elevated. Gradual little twist and balance over to the right side. Inhale to lift. Arm elevates to your own degree. Exhale, it's a little balance. Be mindful, this can be intense on the knee, so be aware there. Inhale to lift. Exhale, gentle twist. Right elbow bends. Final time to rotate at your own rhythm. With the exhale, release. Hand, knee down to the ground. Curl your toes. Inhale to extend, hips back behind. Downward facing dog. Take a moment again here. Lengthen through your whole spinal column. Deep inhale. With exhale, return your knees down to the ground. Inhale to float. Left leg back behind you. Stay there or extend into the balance for a little bit more fire. From there, add the twist. Inhale, breath. Exhale, thread. Bend the left elbow as deep as you need. Honoring the balance here, play with it. Inhale to lift. Exhale to twist. Back knee can always come to the ground if this is too intense right off the bat. So notice this ability for your mind to split its attention, but still be present, both in the twisting motion, but also what's happening through the back line of your body, inner line of the back leg, One more time, rotate into your twisting motion with the inhale, lift. Exhale, relax. Hand and knee down to the earth. Fire up through the finger pads. In breath, hips back and high, downward dog. Notice if there's any added heat, sensation. Deep connected breath. With exhalation, bend your knees. Look out in front. Find your way to the front edge of your space. Forward fold. Inhale to lift and lengthen halfway up. With exhalation, bend your knees, shift the weight back. Inhale, rise up all the way to standing, legs straight, palms lift. Exhale, hands float through heart center. Release your arms. Inhale again, sweep the arms. This time, open the arms right and left. Bend your knees, shift the weight back behind, inner leg strong. Chair pose. Hands can come to the hips or extend out in front. With inhalation, rise back up through center, circle the arms. Exhale, hands lower down through center. Release the arms down. Inhale to lift, circle the arms back up to the sky. With your exhalation, cross your right foot behind your left. Take your right hand to your left wrist. Again, take a breath, lengthen. Exhale, arc over to the right side. Inhale back through center space. With exhale, lower the hands down. Inhale, extend, arms rise to the sky. Exhale to cross left foot behind your right. Take your left fingertips, wrap them around your right wrist. Start to arc over to the side space. In breath to lift back up through center, feet release at middle. Exhale, hinge and fold. Forward, right into forward bend. Inhale to elongate halfway up. With exhalation, fold down to the ground. Step back, high plank pose, top of a push-up. Knees can always come to the earth. So long line here from top of the head to shoulders, shoulders to hip crease to knee, knee to ankle, ankle to heel. One more breath. Knees can support, or with exhale, bend your elbows lower all the way down to the ground. Legs stay hip distance, hands slide a little back, thumbs with breastbones. Squeeze your glutes, inhale to pull forward, then up, cobra pose. Exhale to fold to the ground. Work with your breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Option to sustain next time you rise into the pose. Remember, elongation is the key here. Legs steady and active. Exhale to lower back down to the ground. Curl your toes, tabletop or knees lift. Strong arms hugging in towards center. Inhale to reverse plank. Exhale, press back downward facing dog pose. Take a breath in. With exhalation, feel free to look out in front. Make your way front edge of your mat, forward bend. Inhale to elongate halfway up. Exhale, bend your knees, shift the weight back. Inhale to rise all the way up to standing. With your exhalation, open your arms wide, shake out through your fingers and forearms. Just release any tension from your wrists. Inhale again, breathe the arms skyward. With exhalation, bend your knees, shift the weight back, chair pose. Stabilize through the inner legs. Inhale to lengthen. With exhalation, draw your left arm back behind. Open your ribs, gentle twist to the right. Inhale back through middle. Exhale, feel free to sink a little deeper as you twist and open to the left. Move one more time each side. Knees stay level, in line with each other. Move more from your mid and upper back, less from your hips. Next time you come forward, inhale to lengthen legs and arms. Exhale, swan dive, wide range as you hinge and fold, forward bend. Inhale to elongate halfway up. With exhalation, fold back down to the ground. Step back, high plank pose, top of a push-up. Inhale, full breath. Exhale, bend and lower, low push-up. Or onto the belly rather. Inhale, cobra pose. With exhale, lower down. This time with the inhalation, curl your toes, lift up through tabletop position. Uncurl your toes here, tops of the feet down, in breath to elongate, arms rise to the sky. Exhale, hands pause at heart center. Again, feel free to use knee support here for a little bit more. In breath to lift, arms rise. With exhalation, hands come to your hips. Take your right foot out to the side edge of your space, toes forward or heel to the sky. In breath to lift. With exhalation, slide. Right fingertips to legs, left arm up and over. Inhale to come back through center space. With the exhalation, either hand to block or to the earth. Here for a little side length. And from that place, in breath to elongate your leg. Exhale to lower. Foot either touches or hovers. Inhale, little lift. Exhale to lower. One more time for lift. Exhale, lower your foot down. In breath to rise back, up through center. Exhale, hands lower down through middle space. In breath, arms circle back up to the sky. With exhalation, once again, lean over to the left side of your space. Elevate your right knee off of the earth, little bend here. Inhale, breath here. With the exhalation, hug in for a little core crunch. Inhale through center, exhale, hug in. If you're looking for more intensity, lower your block or hand to the earth. Mindful of your back knee or your knee that's on the earth rather. Final cycle here, crunch and hold for 3, 2, 1, inhale. Exhale to lower, use your breath. Inhale to rise back through center. Exhale, knee returns to middle space. In breath to extend, arms rise to the sky. Exhale to lower, hands onto your hips. With your in-breath, extend your left leg long, heel up or toes face forward. In breath, arms rise to the sky. Exhale, slide left arm down the leg, right arm up and over. In breath through middle space. Exhale, lean over to the opposite side. You have options here, use them. Extend your arm up and over, take a side body stretch. And from there, play with the left leg. Inhale for a little lift, exhale to lower, firing up through the inner line of your leg as well as the outer line. If you're in the movement, next exhale, lower your foot down. Inhale to rise back up through center, both arms to the sky. Exhale, optional open mouth, let it go, a little sound. Inhale, arms lift back up to the sky. Exhale to lower, arc once again. With the inhale, leg and arm extend up. With your exhale, bend your knee, little crunch. Elbow does not need to touch your knee, so work with your own range of motion here. Final cycle, when you draw in, hold for 3, 2, 1. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, lower your foot down. Inhale to rise back up through middle space. With the exhalation, release knee and hands down to the earth. Use your next cycle out breath to lower down to the ground once more. Curl your toes, fire up through finger pads. Inhale to lift, downward dog. Always option for puppy stretch here. And take a moment to reground, reconnect. Noticing what this motion has offered you, what's resonated in your body, what hasn't, what feels more neutral. With your inhalation, extend your right leg up to the sky, three-legged down dog. Exhale, draw forward, knee towards nose, coil in. Inhale, leg high. Exhale, step your foot through in between of your hands. Take both hands to the inside of your right foot. Full breath in. With your exhale, strong, mindful as you do a little twist and turn all the way to the back edge of your mat. So left foot will be forward now. Root into your right fingertips. With the in-breath, twist and revolve over to the left side. Option to lift your left arm. Head can stay at center. Or look up to the sky if that's comfortable for your neck. One more breath. Exhale to lower down through center space. Strong legs here, a little bend in the back knee. As you inhale, lift your torso 45 angle, arms back behind like wings. Both palms can come onto your left thigh if you need a little bit more support here. Stay with your breath. Inhale to rise up, torso and arms long, crescent lunge. With exhalation, lower back down to the earth. Activate through your fingertips. Inhale, left leg to the sky, three-legged downward dog. Exhale to lower your foot down to the earth. Use your inhale, roll forward, high plank pose. Exhale, controlled release all the way down to the earth, either cobra option, or this time take the arms long by the side of your body. Inner leg strong, squeeze your glutes, inhale to lift. Legs and torso. This time it's locust pose. Focus on length as opposed to height, especially if your low back feels like it's getting a crunch. One more in breath. Exhale to lower back down, curl your toes. Your option, table or straight up reverse plank down dog. Use your inhale, left leg rises to the sky, three-legged down dog. Exhale to coil, knee towards nose. In breath, leg high. Exhale, step your foot through in between your hands. Both hands to the inside of your left foot. Take a breath first. Strong legs and core. Exhale, spin and twist back up to the front edge of your mat. Left hand plants. Inhale, rotate your ribs. Gentle movement here, mindful and aware. With out breath, release. Hands down to the ground. Back your bend knee. Bend your back knee just a little bit. Strong legs. Inhale to lift, torso at 45. Again, hands can come forward to support you here. From there, extend through your back heel without locking out your knee. Create actually more of a stretch here for your calf. Inhale to rise up through center. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, right leg to the sky, three-legged down dog. Exhale to lower your foot. Use your inhale, roll forward, high plank pose, strong. Exhale, move through cobra locust, or this time option for upward facing dog. Lots of glute squeeze to protect the low back. Heart open. Exhale, shift back, downward facing dog pose. Notice what's present through your breath. And with your exhalation, two options here. Be mindful of your transition. You can step up to the front edge of your mat, but we're going to come onto the earth. So know that if your knees are tender, bend your knees, lower to tabletop, and then come onto the ground. Inhale, deep breath. With exhale, take your option here based on your knees. If you're coming forward, lengthen part way. Then exhale, bend your knees, shift the way back. Lower all the way down to the earth. Hands behind of your hamstrings. Do a little roll either side of your spine, then come back up. Few cycles here. If this is way too sensitive for your spine, stay seated with the feet out in front. One more final cycle here for a little roll. When you come to a seat, hands back behind, shift the weight, lift your feet off of the earth. Stay there, or hands come behind of your hamstrings. Legs can lengthen out as far as your hamstrings allow. Focus on elongation of your back body. Can stay right there or add the arms, upward boat pose. One more inhale. Exhale, take a moment, feet to the earth, hands back behind of the hamstrings, knees, a little rounding. Especially if your sacrum feels sensitive on the earth, fill in with blanket support here. And gradually unfurl your hands. Inhale to lift. You can stay where we were, upward boat. If you're looking for a little bit more fire, inhale, breath. With the exhalation, shift your way back to your own degree of hover here, hands to elbows. Inhale to rise back up. Exhale again. Hover, inhale to lift. A few more cycles here. Next time you lean back behind, pause for 3, 2, 1. Release all the way down to the earth. If you're upright, come down to the ground. Take a moment to feel, to notice. And from here, interlace your hands back behind of your head. Lift your head off of the earth. Bend your knees in towards you. Inhale, legs rise to the sky. Exhale, lower your legs, either 45 angle, if the back allows, more to a hover. Bend your knees. Inhale, legs rise. Water wheel. Exhale, lower your own degree. Super kindness for your low back. You'll still get a lot of core work and strength if you pause at 45 degrees and bend your knees. Final cycle. Next time you're at whichever angle, pause, reverse, inhale, lift, exhale, bend, extend either straight out or to 45. Relax through your mouth, your jaw. If at any point this becomes too much, take a pause and then rejoin. 3 more cycles here. Final round. With your knees bent into center, relax through your head. Hands come onto your knees. Bring the hands behind of your hamstrings, cross through your ankles. Rock up to the front edge of your mat. Hands out in front. Take your time. Shift back right into downward dog. If that takes a little longer, honor your rhythm. Restabilize in downward dog. Inhale to extend, right leg high to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose, shift forward. Finger pads alive. Inhale, leg high. Exhale, go wide. Right knee towards right elbow, doesn't have to touch. Inhale, leg high. Exhale, step your right foot through in between your hands. Both hands to the inside of your front foot. Inhale, breath. With exhale, do a little spin, wee, all the way to the back edge of your mat. Right hand down. Inhale, twist, 1 cycle with the breath. Exhale to lower, hand down. Legs super strong. In breath to lift. The torso, little V. Inhale to rise, torso and arms. Exhale, lower back down to the earth. With inhale, 3-legged downward facing dog. Exhale, lower your foot down. This time, feet together. Inhale to roll forward, high plank pose. Top of a push-up. Stabilize here. Fire up through your right finger pads. Gradually shift the weight over towards the right side for Vashisthasana, side plank pose. Feet can stack or left foot can come out in front for a bit more support. Option for arm to the sky. Center of the body, super active. Squeeze your glutes. Scoop your tail to tone the low belly. One more inhale. Exhale, return down, high plank. Move through low push-up and breath upward facing or cobra or locust. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Inhale to extend, left leg high to the sky. Exhale, coil, knee to nose. Inhale, leg high. Exhale, go wide towards elbow. In breath, leg to the sky. Exhale, step your foot through in between your hands. Take a breath, honoring the different ways that you can move in your body with the exhale. Graceful or not so graceful, who cares? Spin to the front edge of your mat. Legs steady. Root into your left fingertips. Inhale to float, twist. Exhale to lower. Inhale, torso, 45, arms back behind, leaning crescent. In breath to lift, torso and arms to the sky. Exhale, lower back down to the earth. In breath, right leg high, three-legged down dog. Exhale to lower your foot down. Feet together, inhale, roll forward, high plank pose, top of a push-up. Activate through your left fingertips, strong core here. Let this be your base. Gradual maneuver to the left side, moving into your version, side plank pose. One more inhale. Exhale to lower high plank. Listen here, deep breath in. Exhale, lower all the way down to the ground. With your inhalation, squeeze your glutes, lift legs, torso off of the earth. Take the arms either back behind or for more fire, extend them forward. Super mindful here, active legs. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release all the way down to the earth. Palms can come to support like a pillow. Chin, mouth, or forehead to center. Take a moment break. Check in with your intention, your mind. And gently release, hands back by the side of your heart. Make your own way, downward facing dog, your own rhythm here. Down dog, a full breath in. Exhale, journey to the front edge of your mat, forward fold. Inhale to lift and lengthen halfway up. Exhale, bend your knees, shift the weight back, root down, inhale to rise all the way up to standing. With exhale, hands float to your heart, gaze down to the earth, shift the weight to right leg, left knee floats. Hip height, micro bend in your right knee for a little balance. Inhale, breath. With exhalation, wrap your left leg on top of your right, either kickstand or take the foot back behind. Hands can stay at the hips, or if you want to explore shoulder stretch, wrap opposite arm under opposite arm. I don't remember which side it was. Either the hands go wide or exploring any other arm motion here, eagle pose. Inhale to sprout back up into balance, left knee floats. Exhale to lower, foot down, take a moment. Inhale, expand arms to the sky, optional open mouth sound, sigh. Inhale to lift, arms to the sky, gaze to the earth. With exhale, hands float down, shift the weight, right knee extends into balance. Use your exhale, little micro bend in your standing leg, and start to take it into eagle. Second side might be different what you need here. Explore where the arms need to be in this pose. Use inhale to lengthen back into your balance, arms to the sky. Exhale, lower your foot, hinge and fold right into forward bend. Inhale to lengthen halfway up. Exhale to fold back down to the ground. Step back, high plank pose. Move through your own rhythm. You can always skip here or take a cat-cow. Remember, you have options. Downward dog. Inhale, right leg high to the sky, three-legged. Exhale, coil, knee to nose. In breath, leg high. Exhale, go wide. Inhale, leg high. Exhale, twist, right knee towards left elbow. Inhale, high. Out breath, step through. Take your time. Both hands to the inside of your right foot. With exhalation, spin your whole body to the front or back edge of your mat. This time, inhale right into three-legged down dog, left leg to the sky. With exhale, bend your knees, start to open your hip. Option here to flip your dog. If your left foot is to the ground, scoop your tail deeply, squeeze your glutes, left arm to the sky, little arm balance. Full breath in. Exhale to return, three-legged down dog. Take the in-breath to lengthen. Exhale, step your foot through in between your hands. Both hands stay inside with your breath. Exhale to spin and twist. Front edge of your mat. Root into the hands. Inhale, right leg high. Bend your knee. With the exhalation, option to play little flip. Super mindful of the low spine. Your own option here. Play with your expression. Deep breath in. Exhale, return. Three-legged down dog with the inhale, leg extends. Exhale, this time shift forward, roll high plank. Move through your own rhythm, flow, downward facing dog pose. Deep breath. And with the exhalation, this time step up just to the middle of your mat. Bend your knees. And come right into a little squat at the center of your space. You can use a block to support your little perch for your crow. Also know that the block can come out in front as a little crash pad support, or if you have something softer, that can work too. Either take the triceps underneath of the shins, or again, the knees can come together if that feels like a most supportive version. Fire up through the finger pads, inner arms strong, inner leg strong. This might be your pose. Beautiful place to pause, or a little lean forward, one foot off the ground. Maybe the other, if both feet lift, inner legs together, as if you had a little draft at the center of your navel. Envision space, expansion upwards like a hot air balloon. Deep breath in. Exhale to lower. Feel free to shift a little back. Shake the fingers. One more cycle here to play with the pose, your own rhythm. Remember, this is a beautiful place to pause. Just prepping can build tons of strength right here. Otherwise, exploring a little lean. One foot, the other foot. One more inhale wherever you're at, your own expression. And with the exhale, land back down to the ground. If you're on a block prop, move it to the side. Whoop, lean back. Extend your legs long. Press that through your toes. Make any little windshield wiper movements. And from this space, pause, bend into your knees. Take any props that you need for support back behind you. Slowly begin to recline all the way down onto the earth. Hands to knees, make a few gentle circles with your low back, your sacrum. And check in what's present for you. What are you aware of? And from there, pause at middle space. Happy baby pose. Take your knees open, feet to the sky, hands land either at your calves, ankles. Only the soles of your feet, if your low back can stay pretty stable on the ground. This might be plenty of stretch if you're not feeling enough. Use a little arm strength, very gentle tug down at the same time, feet press skyward. You can stay steady or gentle rock from right to left. And use an exhaling breath to return both of your knees back to center. Feet come to the earth, heels about 5 to 6 inches away from your sitting bones. Grab your block prop. Root into your feet and shoulders. Inhale, gentle lift of your hips off of the ground. Slide your block underneath of your sacrum. Choose the height that best supports here. And take a moment to enjoy supported bridge pose. Mild inversion, slight opening for the spinal discs, length in your spinal column. Invite your breath to be a little softer here. And if your mind is drifting into other parts of your day or other thought streams, opportunity to still invite it back to any reverberation you're feeling in your body or experience of your breath moving different parts. And use your next inhalation to fully exhale out. And with the breath, lift your hips off of the ground, legs and shoulders strong. Exhale, slowly lower your center body back down to the earth. And with an inhale, knees move towards you. Slide your hands behind of your hamstrings, leg to the sky. Micro bend in the knees. Welcome. Feet press skyward as you gently tug the back of the legs down towards your hip sockets. Little hamstring extension. Use exhaling breath to rebend your knees. Lengthen your right leg long onto the earth. Arms come to T position or cactus arms. Left foot to either the inside of your right leg or the left foot can come already onto the thigh. Keeping this, lift your hips. It's a little slide of the hips over to the left side, keeping that little movement. Now twist to the right side. This is too intense. Slide something underneath of your left knee. Keep your left shoulder grounded as your base. Breathe into the side of your body. Let gravity do the work here. You might feel this through your glutes, back line of your body. And then the mid and upper back, receiving just a little bit of rotation. And use your inhalation to lift your left knee back through center. Readjust your hips and pelvis here. Extend left leg long, right foot to the ground. Use it to lift your hips. Slide a little bit right, then twist and fold your knee. Left, right shoulder is your base and foundation. Check in with what you're noticing, what you're aware of here. And relax any tension through your mouth, your jaw, places that don't need to be in activation but might still be. Tongue heavy, eyelids soft. And stay aware of how the posture has shifted for you from the beginning to this point. And use an inhaling breath to lift back up through middle space. Readjust your hips and pelvis to neutral with a soft inhale. Squeeze, hug your knees into center. Make any little final rocks here. And gradually lengthen your legs long onto the earth, or keep the knees bent if low back needs a little added support. Final resting pose. Feel free to cover your eyes here with any additional prop. Arms space out so your shoulders can be at ease. Find comfort. As you settle into the support of ground, take one more guided, full, deep breath in. Sustain the breath at the top of your inhalation. Hold it in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, open mouth, let it all go. Give yourself this time, body held and supported. Letting go of any tension through the front line of your body, from the tops of your feet all the way to the top of your forehead. And the back line of your body from your heels all the way to the back of your head. And also allow the sides of your body from the pinky toe side of each foot. Scan the side line all the way to the sides of your head, inviting ease. Even the internal organs soften. Full permission to be here and receive your practice. I'll chime back in a little bit to guide you back out. And very gently take notice of your body as you rest. And if you have a little bit more time, know that you can always stay put. Otherwise, give yourself a few moments here to allow for little waking movements. And taking any stretches that feel intuitive, supportive. And with a soft breath, draw knees to center, roll over to either side in a fetal position. Take one hand to the ground here, rise back up. Take a comfortable seat with your spinal column long, eyes soft or closed. In the seated place, take just a little bit of time here to sit and be, observe and absorb your practice. Gently return your attention to this moment as the hands connect in front of heart center, and to acknowledge your own intention for being here, carving out this time, each other's company, and this ability that we have to move in various ways in the human experience. Gently bow head to heart, celebrating your wisdom, your strength. Namaste.